gonna fight for Iowa. Let every loyal Iowan.
Hello and welcome to Sports Opinion, the weekly sports talk show on Channel 18, Public Access TV. My name's Dirk Keller. This guy's name is Bob Boyd. That guy's name is Bud Supple, and this is the one and only Earl Murphy.
Glad to meet you.
That's him. Earl the Pearl.
Glad to meet you. It's nice to be back together again.
Yeah.
I always look forward to this. It's a nice break from the rest of reality here as the holiday season crunches down. Wanted to also wish each of you and all our viewers a happy 12-12-12.
Yeah, I read that.
December 12th, 2012. These dates where you have the same month, date, and year will never happen again in our lifetime, or anyone out there's lifetime.
Well, if you live
That's right.
100.
What is January 1st of 01?
Right.
Yeah, right? That right?
That's right.
And I
3,000.
Wow.
I wore number 12 when I was in high school.
Did you?
So I should be lucky today, it said.
There's another
Awesome.
famous number 12 from University of Iowa history. Can you name the basketball player who wore number 12?
Ronnie Lester?
Very good. The one and only Ronnie Lester. That number's been retired. Is it retired or is it? There's
I don't know.
It's tired.
There's another phrase they use. Inspired, they will. Whatever.
They don't use retired anymore, huh?
Well, they can retire a number, and then there's another way of doing it where they don't necessarily retire it, but they don't use it unless they have to.
I think they
Okay.
retired his.
Yep, Ronnie. Oh yeah, Ronnie's was retired. Yeah, I agree. So happy 12-12-12. I don't know if 12 is a lucky number, but in the last week, the Hawkeyes sure took care of business when it comes to the Iowa State.
Isn't that?
They sure did.
The tall, rather tall guy.
Woodbury?
No,
Aaron White.
Aaron White. Isn't he good?
Oh, he's the best.
Oh, yeah.
He's
He
just the
is
best.
perfect.
I thought that last year.
Oh,
He came out like a ball on fire against Iowa State and kind of took control of the beginning of the game, set the tempo for the rest of the game.
That's a good recruit, I would say.
Oh, boy.
Well,
Well, there's kind of a diamond in the rough that was recruited by a lot of other schools, as was Anthony Clemens, the true
Right.
freshman, this year. But that's one great thing about this staff. They can go out and find those guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, everybody knows about the Woodburys and the
in
Giselles.
basketball, you can't get them all.
Yeah.
Football, you can get them all.
Yeah,
But basketball, you can't get them all.
that's
But
right.
we had,
What'd you say about football?
You can get them
you
all,
can get them all.
theoretically
Well, you
speaking.
get so many, you know.
Well,
They have 20, 25 kids
Yeah, well, you're
every
limited
year.
up. But last night at the Regina game, the basketball team come out and shot 3-pointers from the middle of the court for a fundraiser that they had out there. The crowd went crazy. They played Westbrook.
Oh, I bet that was
so
fun.
here comes these the
Well, let's save that for
Iowa
the high school
football.
report. We're going to talk
these
high
are
school.
college or the basketball players.
Oh, the
The
Hawkeyes?
Iowa Hawkeyes over
Yeah.
there.
You're kidding.
Yeah, that Woodbury cheered for him.
Well, who was there? You had Woodbury and who else?
I can't tell you. There was about 5 or 6 of them. And I was on the other side, and they didn't announce them. They got in line.
Really?
You know, the students were in line, and they got in between the students, and they come out.
What a great feeling that must have been for the high
So-
school.
Oh, it was. Well, I think it was for the older people as well, especially West Branch. They just stood up there and cheered and cheered and cheered.
Yeah, that's great.
So this was a shooting contest at halftime?
Yeah, well, they're giving the senior class out there is giving these baskets away to the poor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I see.
I don't know, you know, they've been collecting the
Food baskets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
food baskets.
Yeah.
So to enter, it cost you $1, and the athletic director stood there and kept taking the $1. And there's
great.
only one kid, one of the Lehman boys made it. And
That's
that's they only had to give one basket away.
That's great.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Well, last week the Hawkeyes and Iowa State in women's basketball on Thursday, men's basketball on Friday, and then also on Friday they had the women's swimming and diving team take on Iowa State, and it was a clean sweep.
Okay, I didn't know about the diving situation. Now, where's
Yeah.
that put us in the?
We are ahead of Iowa State in the Cy-Hawk Trophy
Yeah.
competition by at least 1 point And there aren't that many
I didn't know they kept-
events left between. I don't even know what they would be.
Well, what would you have? You would have track and softball, I suppose.
I suppose.
Well, that wouldn't be.
They
there
don't
yet, though.
have a baseball
Right.
team, men's
No baseball. No baseball. at
Iowa State doesn't, that is.
Yeah.
So,
So then, what about where did it? What do you get more for football than anything? No.
they're
No.
treated equally, aren't they? What is it, like 2 points a sport? Is that how they do it?
Yeah, and it's. I think we're one event ahead of them now. They beat us
Okay.
in football.
And where's this
I
beginning of
suppose.
the school year?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
football
there couldn't have
season.
been that many.
Well,
sports.
there was football. There were some other.
Well, they would have beat us in volleyball.
Everybody did it.
Volleyball.
We got 20. He's got 27 events that we've done.
What about soccer?
right?
Does Iowa State have a women's soccer team?
I imagine.
I bet they do.
And
They
how
don't have
about-
lacrosse. We have lacrosse.
And cross country.
They don't have
No, you mean
rowing.
field hockey.
I'm sorry, field hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have that.
Well,
Rowing they wouldn't have.
I went to the women's game, and it was an ugly game.
Oh,
It was on TV, on the Big Ten Network.
oh, that's too bad.
And, you know, the Hawks came out, and I think they scored the first 14 points of the game. I mean, they were just unstoppable. And they were doing a great job on defense. Again, they did a great job on defense the whole game
Yeah.
on Iowa State. Iowa State was missing their leading scorer and rebounder who had concussion syndrome issues, and that helped the Hawkeyes. But, boy, the Hawks
The way
went
we played,
cold.
everyone
Oh.
played. I don't think that guy would have helped it at all.
Gal. This is the women's game.
Thursday night, women's game.
Thursday,
Yeah.
our girls really,
Well,
you know,
they
what helped is that they win their ball games by the 3-pointers, and we cut down their 3-pointers.
Well, they cut down ours too. We couldn't hit the broadside.
Well,
of
we
the
didn't
ball.
Well,
have
the
to
shooting
because we knew how to work
percentage.
it underneath, and they.
They were. I tell you, the Hawkeye women were missing free throws. It was just one of those groaner games. And
I enjoyed it.
well, I certainly
enjoyed
enjoyed the end of it. The crowd there was. We were getting frustrated with the Hawks' inability to put them away. They were clearly the better team on this night, and they just couldn't put 2 free throws together, and they couldn't hit a 3 to save their soul. And then Melissa Dixon came in. And she hit a couple. She hit a 3, and
You drove one in and made it.
yeah, and what's the name? Jamie Printy, who couldn't hit a 3 all night long and didn't, hit a couple free throws down the stretch that just sealed it. Melissa Dixon saved the night, and I mean it was a hard-fought, physical game. Oh,
Well, if either one of those teams would have been shooting their normal percentage, it would have buried the other team.
Yeah.
Because Iowa shot 29% for the game, and Iowa State shot 26%
Yeah,
for the game.
yeah.
Terrible shoot.
It was bad, and it wasn't just 3-pointers that were being missed. It was
No.
a lot of shots underneath.
Yeah.
Iowa State's got a pretty formidable lineup. They've got a 6'7" gal, and
Yeah.
she shoots
Wow.
3-pointers, and she shoots well.
I was there.
Were you? Oh yeah, I saw you at halftime.
Yeah, I was a star.
Earl and Louise were the first ones on the court at halftime to
That's
be
right.
introduced as the scholarship sponsors. And they had all the athletes who got scholarships out there. The Hawkeye men's basketball sat right next to us. And my kids were pretty tickled about that. They got to ride the elevator with Adam Woodbury. And,
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
and
yeah.
Clemens and Fran was there. Eventually, he showed up a little late, but his wife was there, and I thought it was really kind of a nice touch all the way around. Bump, I saw Bump out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. And John
Yeah.
Alt was here.
Was he?
Yeah, he and his wife.
Former Hawkeye football player.
Yeah, I ate with him.
Really?
Yeah, and I ate with Kirk Ferentz,
Really?
and who else? Yeah,
How about Pat White?
I saw him.
Yeah.
We saw J. Patrick White being honored as
Yeah.
well. He's a huge women's basketball supporter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I ate with John Alt, his wife and daughter, and his daughter is 6'2", and she is one of the most beautiful women I've seen.
How old is she?
She's about 16 or 17,
Ah.
and she's being recruited by the Hawks.
Oh, good.
Where do they live,
in
Murph?
Minnesota?
They live in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think John
And,
Alt came out of Minnesota, didn't
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Sure he did.
Yeah.
Now, is his dad dead?
I think so.
Remember, he was real.
In a wheelchair.
Yeah, wheelchair.
And he kept telling everybody that I was his town hawk.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I was.
yeah.
And,
That's great.
Oh,
That's pretty neat.
I remember the Tomahawk story because I said it was he was McCartney's recruit, and he called me. And he said we're going to get John Alt to fly down with us, and we're going to have a day for him. And here is Town Hawk. I said, oh, now I know. So, and he said, we'll call you. And it was John Alt's first airplane ride.
Oh boy.
And we're going to call Murph.
Yeah.
And John said, where's the telephone? And he said, right there. And and McCartney dialed my number, and the telephone wouldn't work. He thought we were going to crash. The airplane. He never
And he's in a small plane, no less.
I
Guy in a small plane.
yeah. And he didn't crash, and he came to my house, and we had a good time, and I real interested in what he had to say. And
Did Louise make dinner for him?
I think she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Well, that's neat that he was back and he remembered you. And
yes, and I said, where we sitting? He said, right over the net. And we sat together, and being as I have the handicap, I didn't get my picture taken out in the hall. They had taken everybody's hall picture.
Yeah.
And we got, and somebody said, we got you all arranged. Bob, he took our picture. Good fellow. Anyhow,
Yeah.
how can I forget? and here comes Jim Vandenberg. Nice name? James Vandenberg.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And what he did, he knelt down and he put his arm around both of us.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and with John and Bonnie were there because they hauled me around,
Yeah.
as you know.
Yeah.
And we had a wonderful time.
Sounds like
That's
it.
great.
Yeah.
Well, love to see Alt's daughter carry on the tradition and be a Hawkeye basketball
And you know
player.
she's going to be taller.
16 and she's 6'2".
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's about 16 or 17.
John
Yeah.
Alt was a longtime star lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs and made a lot of Hawkeye fans proud after his time under Hayden Fry.
One time he came in the store and he said, "Where's Murph?" He says, "He's standing right there." He said, "Oh," he said, "I want to see you. I got to talk to you." And I said, "Let's go up to the office." And we hopped in the news store, and went into the office, and he closed the door behind him. I said, "John, we don't close the door." He said, "That's all right." Slam the door shut. And I said, "What's the matter?" And he said, "They want to move me inside." Oh, I said, "John, some more." And he rattled off, and I said, "It sounds like you're going to miss the applause because you won't get any applause."
He was a tight end, is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. He liked catching passes and
Yeah.
scoring touchdowns.
They want to move me inside. And I said, and he just rattled on, and I said, "John, what do you think?" And I said, "I think you're going to move inside.
Yeah.
Because if you want to play football at Iowa, you don't play with tight end. You play offensive tackle. Hayden Fry will tell you where you're going to play."
That move changed his whole life.
Oh, yes. Anyhow, I got the best part. Anyhow, I said, if I were you, I'd go back and talk to Hayden Fry. And I'd tell him I'm going to move inside. Because the players all want you inside, the fans all want you inside, and you won't make a when they come to the pro draft. He said, "What that makes any difference?" I said, "That makes $1 million difference to you. You won't make a cent at offensive at
Tight end.
Tight end, yeah.
as you will at offensive tackle.
Well,
And he said, "Really?" And I said, "That's right." He said, "Wow, how much money will I get?" I said, "At least $1 million." If you,
he made a lot more than that, didn't he?
yes,
Tackle. How many years did he play?
9, 10 years.
Oh, longer than that.
Okay.
I want to say 16 or 17.
Oh, I don't
Wow.
think-
No.
No, that's. I think
He was with the Chiefs a long time.
Yeah.
9 or 10 years. He made a lot of money.
Long enough to make good money.
Yeah.
Did he move back to Minnesota then after his career, or is he down in Kansas City?
He's in Minneapolis.
Minneapolis now? Yeah.
And
Where he was from.
And he's bigger than big.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh.
If I remember right, he was 6'7", 320, something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was.
Jolt.
Yeah, he
And
was
man,
good.
that was what, 25 years ago?
Yeah.
That was a big guy.
He's about. Well, he was a 6'7", 250 when he came here.
Right.
And
Yeah.
put on all that weight. And we had a wonderful time.
Oh, I'm glad you got to do that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got to go to the women's game, too. 'Cause
Yes.
It really is a lot of fun. They put on such a
Yeah.
good show at Carver Hawkeye when the women play.
And I'm so much in favor of our coach Bluter. She just wonderful.
Lisa Bluter, friend of Sports Opinion.
Does a great job.
Yeah,
Well, her whole staff. I mean, she's had that staff together for a long time, and
she has.
it's very cohesive, and the chemistry's good, and
Yeah.
they've done a wonderful job with those teams. Now, how was the crowd for the women's game?
Oh, I thought it was pretty
Real
good.
good. I
Yeah.
think about 7,000, 8,000.
Yeah. Were you at
Good.
the game too, bud?
No, I watched it though.
I listened to it on the radio.
The announced crowd was, but
I think
for
they
the
said.
whole thing there.
I thought they
12,000
announced it
something.
around 8, but was that tickets sold or
yeah,
people in the seats?
Well, they had quite a few people there from Iowa State.
they did.
Yeah.
They had a whole
Yeah.
section.
And Iowa State came back and took the lead there temporarily in the second half, or was it the first half? I can't remember now. But Iowa just hung in there
But
and
you
made
have to
big
remember
shots.
where Iowa State was ranked too.
They
Yeah.
were number 14
Yeah.
coming into that game.
Yeah, they're and undefeated.
And
Well, this is
undefeated.
the way I looked at it. I thought the
Yeah.
longer we can keep ahead
Yeah.
on the 14th.
I really like the passion that these women display when they're playing these big games.
Yeah.
They are so into it. And you could see it on their face after the game was in hand. At the very end, those girls were happy. They were relieved, but
Especially
they were
Johnson.
happy.
Johnson really showed on her.
Morgan and Jamie Prenti, the seniors,
Yeah.
were relieved.
Well, they were this first time they've beaten Iowa State. They
Well-
lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
They had? I didn't know that.
Well,
Wow.
which one?
That's
Boys or
Women.
the women.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boys have too.
That's
We lost 3 in a row to them? Wow. Okay, Earl, you were there. I saw
is
where
that
you were
right?
sitting.
Is that right? Maybe not.
I don't
Maybe
know
I'm
if they-
thinking-
No, I think that.
I was
Or is
thinking
it
they
might have
won
mixed up with the
2
men.
years ago.
Okay, you're probably right. yeah.
Earl, you were sitting at half court with Louise,
Yeah.
and I got to tell you, Billy, the women's coach at Iowa State.
Uh-huh.
Okay, if you don't want to hear this word, close your ears. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
He just screams and yells at his
He's a
players.
big winner.
He gets so red in the face. Me and Lori Lucina and Sue Evans sit together at these basketball games.
Yeah.
Chuck Evans' wife.
Yeah.
And we would just sit there and watch him during timeouts and talk about shades of red his face would get.
Oh boy.
He looks like he's about ready to pop a blood vessel.
You have to remember they're both from Davenport.
Lisa's from Marion.
Well, but she played at
Played at St. Ambrose.
Yeah.
And Fenley, yeah, he's a
the
good
thing
coach.
Of that whole night, we beat 2 of the best coaches in the Midwest.
Who else?
The boys' coach.
Oh, Hoiberg.
Oh,
Oh,
He's nothing but a good coach.
He's a better recruiter than coach.
we'll see about that.
Well,
We'll see about that.
He makes the NCAA.
We'll see about
Yeah.
that. He's able to scour the
What was
JUCO
he
ranks.
ranked? They were both ranked.
No, Iowa State men were not ranked when that game started.
Well, I don't know about when it started. They were ranked.
But they're going to have a good team. I mean, they didn't shoot very well, or they weren't
Not at
very
all.
disciplined, for sure.
Yeah, now we'll get to we'll switch over here now to the men's game, which was the next night on
Yes.
Friday. And yeah, that was, like you said, Bob, Iowa State men couldn't hit it. They couldn't hit the baskets.
Yeah.
Iowa's defense was
Right.
tough.
And I'm like Bob, they weren't very disciplined.
Nope.
Yeah.
When they wanted to throw that ball up, they just went ahead and threw it up. I mean, I get tired of watching these games when nobody wants to pass the ball around and give it to the guy that's open.
I think the Hawkeyes passed that ball
That's
as well
right.
as any team
And
out
that's
there.
why we're going to be tough. We're going to beat some teams that.
That's one, Bud, with the Hoiberg comment about coaching. McCaffrey coaches a team, and
Yeah.
they play well together.
That's
Especially the chemistry is good, and it just seemed like Iowa State, they're gunslingers.
Right, I agree with you.
You know, let's put it up. You know, I mean, you've got 3 guys that transferred from other schools, from Michigan State, Penn State, and Utah. They've got a redshirt guy, they're redshirting from Southern Cal right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you know, if they're not happy with their program somewhere else, Fred will take us.
Yeah.
And
You nailed it, Bob.
yeah, and you know, you can't build a program on that. That can get you out of trouble for a year or two, which is maybe what he's doing. Because
but
he's very popular in
He's
Ames.
had that well. I was going
And
to
he's
say
had
they
good
sell every
records,
game
yeah.
out.
Born and raised in Ames, local
Yeah.
boy, done good.
The night after that, they had a game with someone,
They did.
and the place was
Killed
filled,
them.
and I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it.
It was not a good team they played.
No,
No,
it
they
was a
beat him
bad
by
team.
30 points.
Yeah.
It was one of those directional schools.
They were
Yeah.
undefeated when they. Oh no, they lost 2 games, didn't they?
Yeah, they had
in the
lost.
tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
But they were good teams.
yeah.
Well, I don't know who said it, Bob or Earl or Bud, but Iowa State's very undisciplined, and it showed.
I met him on
Yeah, that game there.
Finley on. We were going out. And
Bill Finley?
Bill Finley was coming in, and I said, "Nice game, coach." And he stopped and looked at me. He said, "Thank you." And
Yeah. I was afraid he was going to say something else, man.
Yeah. I don't know if he agreed
I
with
like
you.
to see that kind of sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At
the
least he
heck
did that, though. That's good. But you know, Hoiberg, I'm sure he'll get those guys reined in because he couldn't have been too pleased with their performance.
No.
No, and they shot when they shouldn't have been shooting. They just-
Well, I thought I saw one on TV and one in person was they both shot about the same.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think the Iowa State men shot a little better than the women because the women
Yeah.
were just atrocious at 20%.
But like Bob says, the men's team, they're from California, New York. I mean, they're from all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just goes out and gets all these guys.
Boy, but we got one of the better players in the country in our
Woodbury?
White.
Oh,
Aaron White.
Aaron
what?
White.
Oh, I know.
Oh, he played a whale of a game.
Oh,
He
God.
set the tempo for that game. If you remember, the first basket of the game was essentially an alley-oop dunk. And I mean, he puts those dunks down with authority. Bob, I wish you could see
Yeah.
it. He's a big, long, rangy, muscular guy. I'm going to say it again. He reminds me of Chris Street. He
Yeah.
doesn't have that vocal outburst that Street did. He's a redheaded, short-haired guy who just is so authoritative when he goes to the basket, whether it's rebounding
On
or
everything.
shooting.
He's
He's a
100%
bulldog.
from the time he gets
And
in
he-
there. I don't care if it's
And he's
defense
got a lot
or
of
all.
steals.
That's right. Absolutely right.
He's so heady. If you watch him and focus on him during
Yeah,
an Iowa possession, you just watch what he does. He knows where to be. He knows how to work his defender and rub him off a teammate and get to the hoop, whether it's for an alley-oop or just to rebound and put back a missed shot. And that's what I love most about Aaron White. Is
Isn't he
his
from
ability.
Ohio?
He is.
Yes, he is.
Strongsville,
Right.
Ohio.
Yeah.
And Fran was in on him early, and Ohio State never recruited him. I mean, they've got better players.
Sure.
And
He got injured too between his, didn't he, in
There
his
you go.
junior year,
Oh.
and
They
it kind of
laid
took him
back.
off the
That's right.
scene for a while, and then he really
Absolutely.
had a good summer before his senior year and some of that
Because
AAU stuff. And,
Ohio was after him. I know
yeah,
that.
but
State,
not
but
right. University of Ohio.
Yeah,
or Ohio
University of Ohio.
University.
yeah, but
The Bearcats.
not the big boys, you might
But,
say.
last year in that shootout up at out west somewhere in Utah, or who'd we play tonight? And
Gonzaga.
No, the NCAA,
That
we
wasn't-
got beat to 100 and,
Wasn't that Gonzaga?
was it? I don't know, but he's the one who kept us in there.
Aaron White?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's got a great shooting touch. And this is what concerns me a little bit this year. He's not taking that three. He's playing a different position this year with the realignment,
Yeah.
with all the influx of
And
new
I
players.
like it because he's getting the rebounds.
Yeah, but he was getting them last year. And
Yeah.
I'd like to see him.
But I like where he's at because it's 100%. He's 100% ball player.
And the guy,
Absolutely.
That game was out, NIT game. That was Washington State, wasn't it?
Oh, Oregon.
It was
Oregon
out on
it
the
was.
northwest.
Oregon.
It was Oregon.
Oh, okay.
the
It
last
was
game of the
Oregon.
season.
That's right.
That's
I
when-
mean,
but-
overtime we went.
Yeah.
But you know what? This team, they've just got such a good mix, and they've got so much depth that we haven't had forever.
Yeah, our center's coming around.
Yes.
Woodbury had a great game
Great
against
game.
Iowa State.
We've got about 5 or 6 guys play at least 2 positions, and that's huge when you get into foul trouble.
Oh, yeah.
You have injuries.
Speaking of Woodbury, he looks like a high school player.
How so?
Last night out there, I mean, he was in line with those kids, and he looked so young. Or
He
something. Or
is a
maybe
big
I'm
kid,
getting
isn't
old
he?
or something. Yeah,
No pun intended, but he's a big kid.
Yeah, that's
He
right.
kind of shows that on the court. He, if he makes a big basket or something, he'll start. I don't know how to describe it, Bob. It's almost bobblehead. He does one of these bobblehead motions and
But he shows some emotion. That's
exactly.
with it,
Yeah, he's not showing anyone up.
No.
Nothing like that. He's emotional.
Well, that
And
gets the
what's that-
fans fired up when
He
they
did.
see that.
Yeah.
Did Johnny come lately, the guard?
Anthony Clemens.
Yeah, Clemens.
I tell you, the
Wow.
Iowa State game was a coming out party, if you will, for Anthony Clemens. He's playing the point guard now instead of Gasell, and that's fine with me because this kid not only can contribute and score and penetrate, but he plays defense. And he shut down that Iowa State senior
Yeah.
who transferred from Michigan State. Is it Corey Lucius?
Yeah.
That's right.
He shut him down. I mean, shut him down. He had, one turnover in the Iowa State game
And 8 assists.
and 8 assists. And the game before that against South Dakota, he had no turnovers.
Why was
And
why did he
some-
leave Iowa or Michigan State?
Lucius? You're talking about Corey Lucius?
Yeah.
Playing time, I suppose. Or else maybe he had disciplinary problems with
Yeah, I don't
Izzo.
remember
I don't remember him playing.
why.
Oh, he
I
played.
remember him
Oh, yeah.
playing.
Oh, he
Okay.
played. I mean, he played there 3 years.
Yeah, I know.
He left with 1 year of eligibility.
You always wonder why someone stays there 3 years and
Yeah,
leaves.
yeah.
Well, you don't know if it's a
But they're-
kid's decision or a mutual decision or.
Yeah.
Well, he's 5 years older than Anthony Clemens.
Their coach is out.
And Clemens shut him down. And I'm telling you, folks, we just saw the birth, if you will, of a star in the making. Anthony Clemens is going to be that guy that nobody expected. No, he was lightly recruited.
How many years did he play?
Anthony Clemens?
Well, he's a true freshman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll play 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw. Oh.
Yeah, this is his first year. He's a true freshman. This Corey Lucius is a fifth-year senior. And he'd been around a while.
This was out there last night too.
Was he?
Yeah, there's 5 or 6, and the people went wild. They didn't go
How about
wild
that?
for any of the ball games. They went when those guys lined up out there.
Oh, that's great. I
And
don't know
they-
whose idea
then-
that was, but that's a
then they
great
got-
idea.
Well, now this is another thing. They set up with the kids during the ball game.
Isn't that
I mean,
great?
they didn't leave the gym. They went up and said the student body was having fun with it.
I wish I'd have known that.
And then they
They're
traded
supposed to be-
off.
this is the week that they're supposed to be
Finals,
studying.
yeah. Well, they got their
what
finals.
What they doing
I
out
hope
there?
they got their finals over. But the one half they set with Regina, and the other half they
Yeah,
set
if-
with
if
That's great.
West Branch.
That's great. Even if it's West Branch, that's
Yeah.
great.
That was a
That's
good
right.
politically correct move.
If
Sorry,
they-
Butch.
if
I had a
they-
nice talk with him too last
if
night.
they-
Did you now? You want to enlighten us?
No.
Come on.
I got one comment to make. If they're got a couple of ineligible basketball players, we're going to blame Regina for it.
No, they didn't do anything.
I'm guessing they're doing just fine.
Well, what do you mean? They're up playing with kids and stuff?
Well, it was a line. He had to take a shot at a three-pointer.
Now-
Oh, you mean out that way? I see.
now,
No, they ain't
Bud,
good.
now, Bud, you just mentioned that you and Butch Had a little conversation.
Real nice.
Did the Sports Opinion TV show come up in this
Yes,
conversation?
and he likes it. He's watched it a couple times, and
Really?
he really likes that tall guy. Who is he? He says, Dirk's his name.
Yeah,
You mean the guy he called and chewed out for a half hour?
that would be the guy.
He didn't really chew me out. We had a nice conversation.
But he's really happy with his job. He's starting to line up
Yeah.
for the camps.
Oh.
He's doing the University of Iowa camp.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He signed a contract with them, and,
How much is he getting paid to do that?
well, I didn't get into that. I don't,
Do you think he'd tell you?
huh?
Think he'd tell you? Oh, I don't think so.
I don't think it's
Was this the summer camps, you mean?
Yeah, the summer camp.
Is that
Okay.
unusual for them to go outside the university athletic department to hire someone to run these camps?
Well, I think they like to get a basketball coach that knows a lot of the schools and so forth.
Football, you mean?
See, yeah. So, like, he can call North Cedar and maybe get their team to come in. I mean, it's another one of those things. It's all about money.
Dang, Butch Peterson. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Good.
Maybe he can start recruiting to West Branch the way Regina recruits to their school.
We recruit anyone that's got $12,000 for tuition.
Yeah, no
See,
kidding.
I'm just thinking about it, but we met last meeting we had was September 6th. I mean, December 6th.
Our last show?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
December 5th.
all right.
Yeah.
And Thursday, or it must have been Thursday or Friday, was Pearl Harbor Day.
December 7th.
Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Friday. Louise and I were in Honolulu that particular time. I said 93. That's when it was. And we decided to go to the program they had that day. And that's why I'm telling you this story. But they had Navy band played. We were in a new building, and some general or some higher up, he gave a speech. Then we got on a boat and went out where the Arizona, and that's still bubbling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was quite emotional.
Oh, very. Very solemn place.
Yeah, real solemn. And I'm just talking. The timing was bad, but it ended up for us. But I thought I'd tell the story again.
I went there when I went out for a cousin's wedding, and my father was still alive, and he was with us, and he'd been in World War II and had been in Hawaii after Pearl Harbor, of course. But what he found really offensive to visit the Arizona Memorial were all the Japanese tourists who were talking loudly and showed no respect whatsoever
right.
for the solemnity of that place.
That happened to us too.
If you haven't been there, yeah, see, that's what I'm hearing from other people. I'll tell you another similar story. I went to Rome quite a few years ago, and we were in the Sistine Chapel, taking a tour of the Vatican, and there were all these Asian in there, and they have signs that say silence when you're in the actual chapel. I mean, it's a pretty reverent place, to say the least.
Yeah.
And there you got all these Japanese Asian tourists who, and I hate to sound racist, but I don't know if they were Japanese or not. They
Well,
were, most likely they were.
were.
But they kept talking and taking pictures, which they said no pictures in the Sistine Chapel. And all of a sudden, we're all kind of, we're looking around going, why are they ignoring the obvious signs? And all of a sudden, this priest, I don't know if he was a brother or a priest or what, he walks in that chapel, and he's a rather big man. Didn't say a word. He just went real loud and went, shh.
Did they?
They understood that.
That got everybody's attention. But I'm guessing as soon as we kind of left right after that,
Yeah.
you don't really stay in there that long. It's big, and the idea is to look.
It was Japanese.
I'm sure they're the only ones that would show
They're
interest
the only
in
ones that
that.
had money to travel.
Well, yeah.
And speaking of Rome, did you see where the Pope got a new Pope Mobile for $3 million. I
Whoosh.
wouldn't mind riding. It's all white. Everything's in it.
Yeah, we can't afford to keep all these parishes open. I'll tell you what, for half that money, I could have gotten him a pretty good pope. That's another story. Let's stick to sports. Daggone it. Okay, we were talking about.
I'm glad you were there at Honolulu because you had the same experience we did.
Very
Japanese
solemn.
were talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't get over it. My dad couldn't get over it. And he was a real quiet man. He didn't offend easily and didn't speak out much, but he was offended and he said so.
Okay.
Yeah. So, let's see. The Iowa wrestlers, they whipped up on Iowa State a week ago. And when I say whipped up, I mean whipped up on them. Iowa State, that's a program.
They had a nice crowd.
3 points?
Nice crowd.
Good crowd. Yeah, Iowa State scored 3 points.
They won one match. Yeah.
They say he's about ready to get canned.
Yeah.
Oh, I would
I'm
think
guessing
so.
Yeah.
That's a storied program there at Iowa State.
Boy, they gone downhill.
Wrestling power well before Iowa. Iowa was the also-ran in this state when it came to wrestling.
Yeah, but
Dan Gable and
Change that.
Gary Kurtelmeyer
Yeah.
and Bump Elliott changed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Along with Roy Carver.
I was going to say Roy Carver.
Don't forget Roy.
He helped a little bit,
He helped.
money-wise,
Yeah, and so
Tom Brands has certainly carried on that tradition, and Jim Zaleski.
absolutely.
That's all started by Gary Kurtelmeyer.
Gary
Yeah, that's
Kurtelmeyer.
right.
That's what I.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's his soul. So it was a clean sweep of the Cyclones over the last week.
I used to
Now,
go to those wrestling matches when Mike Howard was a coach.
really?
Yeah,
How many people would they draw?
about 2,000.
Really? In the old field house?
Wow. Pretty good crowd back
Yeah,
in the day. That was a long time ago. Yeah.
Well, the Iowa women, I'm going to back up to let's stay with the wrestling for a minute.
Yes.
The wrestlers are now on their way to Madison Square Garden in
Isn't
New
that
York City.
wonderful?
Yeah, that part's wonderful. If you want to listen to the wrestling meet, so they have a duel called, what is it? The Garden Grapple, or Grapple in the Garden or something on Sunday morning. The first meet is at 9:30 a.m. against Hofstra.
Yeah.
Sunday
Sunday morning.
morning at 9:30, and KXIC radio will be there live. I just love them for that. It's great. And then the second meet will start sometime around 11:30 against Bucknell. Let's see here.
Are they either
11:30?
either one of them ranked?
No,
Okay.
they've got a few ranked wrestlers on each team.
Cornell.
But it should be a cakewalk. And then Monday, the Hawks go up to Buffalo, New York, to wrestle the University of Buffalo, and that'll be at 6.
Well, it's the falls.
I hope so.
They better take their
That is pretty impressive. I've seen
take
that.
their snow gear because it's snowing up there pretty good.
Oh, wonderful.
But wrestling in Madison Square Garden,
Yeah.
that's big time.
We were in New York on a buying trip, and Lloyd, my partner, and Mo and Earl went up to see the falls. And all the young people kissing and stuff. I got a kiss from Mo.
Does Louise know about this?
Oh,
If not, she does now.
he was the funniest guy in the world. Oh,
Niagara Falls is really impressive.
Yes.
In person. You just, words fail to accurately describe how awe-inspiring it is. It's so big. And the rainbow mist that hangs in the air all the time.
There's a lot of
One of the seven
Japanese
wonders of the
up there
world.
taking-
Yeah, is it really?
Was there a lot of Japanese people
No.
taking pictures?
No.
we drowned him.
Yeah.
I didn't see any Asian visitors there
Well,
that
when
year.
you see them, they're all taking pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they own Kodak.
Okay, back to the Hawkeyes now. The Iowa women's basketball team will be on Sunday afternoon for a 2:00 game And that it will be on MediaCom Connections Channel 22 live.
Good.
2 o'clock Sunday, the Iowa women versus Drake. That's where Lisa Bluter used to coach, and that's where her staff also coached with her. So I'm looking forward to that game.
Wasn't she there when they built the Knapp Center?
No.
No, I don't think.
No? Okay.
You'd know.
Oh,
I always trust your judgment.
I'm not. I am.
Well, Lisa came here. Didn't she come here
She
the same
came
year
in
as
the year
Kurt Burns?
2000.
2000. Okay.
One year
after
behind Kurt.
That's possible, Bob. Time
I'm thinking
flies.
she was there for a couple
Oh,
years.
I don't think it's been there that long.
Hadn't it?
Okay.
That'd be 13 years? I don't think so.
Okay.
Well,
I don't know.
But you talk about MediaCom now.
Yeah.
Do they have a connection with the Big Ten Network? Because when they announce these games,
They have a relationship.
and it says right the Big Ten Network.
Mm-hmm.
So, am I under the impression when the Iowa basketball boys are
Men.
not on, or men, whatever you, I call them boys too. But anyway, are we going to get the game automatically on 22? This one we get into the Big Ten.
I think when the Big Ten schedule starts, you won't see another game on Connections.
Well, the Big Ten connection or network times, all the games are going to be on. All the Big Ten games will be seen in your area.
Yeah, but it won't be on Connections, Channel 22.
Well, how are they going to carry all those games?
I don't know. Well, they don't hold the basketball games at the same time. And if it's not on the Big Ten Network, then they have a system that they check down through. I think
Okay.
ESPN comes first,
Okay.
ESPN 2, then
So
Well, what
whatever
Bud's
the-
saying though is
ESPNU.
22 connections in that network that
No.
comes down,
No,
cycles down.
no,
are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought some of them were on last year on that channel.
Yeah.
But not during the Big Ten season.
Oh,
No way. They
Okay.
will not put a Big Ten versus Big Ten game on Connections, mainly because the quality of their telecast is so poor, both video and audio. They don't have HD,
okay.
so when you watch a game on Connections 22, maybe you don't notice a difference, but the screen is much wider and it's not nearly as
I don't
good.
think what, because I like to see them.
Yep. And the women will be on Connections 22 on Sunday at 2 p.m. The men are going to be playing Saturday at 1:30, and this is in the inaugural Big Four
Yeah.
Classic.
Say,
The
will
Big
it-
Four Classic.
Will the wrestling be on?
No, not on TV. It'll be on the radio. It'll be on KXAC.
Well,
So
what
the-
about the men? What channel is that on?
The men will
Saturday.
be on the Big Ten Network.
Okay.
Yeah. Men
And
will be
where's
on the
that
Big-
at?
Saturday, the game is at Drake against UNI.
No. You and I Saturday against Iowa. That's what you're talking about, right? Iowa and you and I Saturday
Yes.
at 1:30.
Yeah, but it's at
That's on the
Drake.
Big Ten Network.
Where's
It's
that
at the
new
Knapp Center.
bowl you just talked about?
No, it's not the Knapp Center.
Yeah.
It's at their
It's
arena
yeah.
over there.
Oh, Wells Fargo.
Yeah, Wells
I'm
Fargo.
sorry.
Yeah.
Which is where, isn't that where Drake plays?
No.
They play at the Knapp Center.
They play at the Knapp Center.
I've got
On
it
Sunday
confused.
they
Oh,
play
I knew this.
the women
Yeah.
play there, at the Knapp
Thanks
Center.
for clearing
Yeah.
that up.
But the tournament's at the Wells
The
Fargo.
Big Four
That's correct,
Classic
yeah.
will be at the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines. The first game is at 1:30 with Iowa versus UNI. Iowa will be the home team. The second game
Okay.
will not be on the Big Ten Network because it features Iowa State versus Drake.
They'll be on some network.
They might.
Yeah.
Probably.
They're on MediaCom.
They might be on Connections.
You and I beat us last year or not?
Yeah, I think they did.
That was up there. That was the game Fran got kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
The refereeing was so atrocious that night. One of the worst jobs I've ever seen in college basketball. And he let them know, and they kicked him out. Remember him walking off the court?
Yeah, I remember
With
that
a
now.
security guard?
I was
I
glad.
thought
After
that
his
was
second
really
tee, right?
tacky.
I was glad.
I thought that was really tacky of you and I to do that. They had that UNI policeman escort him off the court. I just, I'm sorry.
Well, speaking of Iowa State, on the
I
game,
hope we beat the living snot out of them. I'm sorry, Bob.
did you know that Iowa State just signed with MediaCom?
Yeah.
So all their basketball and football games are going to be on MediaCom somewhere.
Yep. Yeah. And they'll have that quality of
Yeah.
MediaCom
See, I don't
connections.
understand that because they just signed a big network for their
Big 12.
conference.
Yeah.
So why would they do that?
I think what it's going to do, it's not just for football and men's basketball. It's for all sports.
All sports.
And it's going to be like it is here, where the Connections channel will fill in whenever the Big 12 network doesn't carry the Iowa State game, or the Big 12 network doesn't, or ESPN,
Oh, who signed with?
MediaCom.
Fox?
Media.
No, I mean the Big 12.
Oh, that I don't know.
I don't know. Aren't they
They just signed a great big contract.
They didn't create their own network?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did.
Well, they didn't sign with anybody.
No.
They created their own network.
No, but it's not going to be called the Big 12 network like
No,
ours.
no.
Isn't it?
Uh-uh.
What are they going to call it?
I don't know. That's what I asked.
The Texas network?
It could be because Texas is allowed more games than the other
Oh,
ones.
of course. Well, they have more TV sets than any other state in the Big 12. And as far as football, they probably have more interest
Well,
than any other state.
because of the way they dominated the Big 12 and their power push, that's why Nebraska left.
That's right.
God, yeah.
That's why they're in the Big 10.
That's right.
They got tired of it. Yeah.
So,
I think Iowa State eventually is going to be in the Big 10 too. I heard that again.
well, you say that, but I don't read that anywhere else.
You don't
I
have
believe
to,
you.
You don't have to read it. It ain't out yet.
Well, they're talking about a lot of other
Just like
schools
you
for the
didn't
Big
believe me
Ten.
on Alvarez coaching the Rose Bowl either.
No, I asked that very question. Will Barry coach in the Rose
And
Bowl?
I said, yeah, and you said
Yeah?
you don't think so.
Yeah, that's true.
Did I say I don't think so?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
But Bud was
And I'll
right.
tell you another thing he's going to get.
I didn't
now
think he
get
would
this.
either, by the way.
He's going to get $230,000 for coaching that game.
Really?
And then, now get this, and this is yours, he's going to coach next year, the whole year, for $3.5 million for just 1 year.
Now, I think when we brought that
Where'd you get the
possibility
money?
up, you didn't think that
Who
would
signed-
happen.
No.
Who signed the check?
Barry.
Yeah.
He's the boss.
That's
There
right.
is a real
But that,
strong rumor
for
about what Bud said.
$230,000,
About him coaching next year?
Yes.
he's going to coach the whole year.
Now, I'm pretty sure all you guys said that wasn't going to happen.
No, I didn't. I knew what was
I
coming.
said that it wasn't
Coaching
gonna
next
happen.
year?
The whole, and I can tell you what he's going to get. But anyway,
$3.5 million
$3.5
for
million.
1 year.
Yeah, well,
So he can groom the next head coach on his staff?
he's going to pick the one. He's
It's going to be interesting to see how many
not
coaches he has left. It'll be interesting to see how many coaches
well,
Barry
knowing
has
Barry,
left.
another thing I'll do with you, I'll bet you $5 or a popsicle or whatever you want to bet that they win the Rose Bowl.
I bet you that.
Okay.
$5.
Okay.
$5.
I'm kind of with Bud on that because everybody is kicking the Big Ten when they're down, and we don't have a chance. And Nebraska was going to be Wisconsin. Well, guess what? They got beat by 40 points, 70-31, and
That was fun.
Barry's got a pretty good ego, and he's going to want to make sure. He's 3-0 in the Rose Bowl.
Yes, he is.
There's nobody wants to win that fourth one because you know what? How many Big Ten coaches do you remember that have won 4 Rose Bowls?
None.
Right. So he's coaching that, and I'll tell you what, don't count Wisconsin out of that
No,
Rose
I
Bowl
know it.
game.
I am with you.
Who do they play?
I agree with Bud. I think
Stanford.
Stanford.
And I watched them twice this year, and I'm telling you, you lost a popsicle.
If they were playing
It's a
Oregon,
$5
I'd say. If they were playing Oregon, I'd say,
Right.
good luck,
I
Wisconsin.
would,
You're
yeah.
out of luck.
Yeah.
I would too.
But Stanford, I'm telling you what, guys, they both play a pro-style offense. Stanford's
Well,
got a
and
good
I
defense.
think it's the first time ever that the Rose Bowl had 2 teams that weren't ranked in the top 25.
Is that right? Wow.
I'll take that bet. I like Stanford.
Yeah.
I'll bet you.
I think.
Okay, here's the deal, Murph. I'll bet you $5, and you two have bet $5.
Okay.
So Bud and I are taking Wisconsin. You guys are taking Stanford.
Okay. That's a
All
good
right? Okay.
And Bud's not going to be around for 4 or 5 months to collect from me, and he'll probably forget.
I'll give you Bud's $5, but I'm pretty confident Bud's going to win that bet. So.
Well, I'm guessing we've only got.
Can we do this on
Do you wanna
public
make it 10?
access?
Joe, I'm guessing we've only got about 10 minutes left.
Okay.
Maybe less, 10 minutes. Okay. Let's talk a little high school basketball.
Yeah.
Regina girls last night upset the whatever ranked
15.
West Branch team.
Yeah.
Boy, they upset them.
You were there, bud.
Yeah,
What'd you think of the Regina girls?
really good.
Yeah? Who stands out?
It's the Lehman girl.
They happen to be related to you, don't they?
Yeah.
One of them is. One of them is and one of them isn't. Oh, hell, Supple's related to everybody.
Well, let me tell you, the best one on the Lehman girl, Friday night's game, Jenna, she got 19 points, I think. Well, the press assistant wrote it up that my granddaughter got the 19
Oh,
points.
no.
Oh, at the wrong layman, huh?
Who wrote that? Susan Harmon or
I suppose,
Suckamel?
I don't know.
That's
More
pathetic.
mistakes. Oh, my
Oh,
God.
I know.
Yeah, they
Oh.
just can't quite get it right, that old press, you know?
No.
They can't get it right.
But the whole team, he's got a team that
Who does?
the coach, Clark,
The women's coach.
the women, yeah, he's got a team that they know how to pass around. They probably pass around 5 times before they shoot. And they all, within that, and I've been watching a lot of different basketball, but if you pass around 4 or 5 times, eventually you're going to find someone open underneath the bucket.
Yeah.
And,
And if you pass effectively, you're going to rub
that's right.
defenders off one
That's
another.
right. That's
Well, they might want to scrimmage the Regina boys because they got beat by 30.
Oh,
Well,
That was
here's what you don't understand.
what was the
The
deal?
boys upset Mid Prairie
Yeah.
to beat West Branch,
Yeah.
and then we turn around.
How
and
can
it's
they?
just-
What happened last night?
How does that happen?
I
mean,
don't want to get into that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Why not?
yeah.
Well, I don't think. No, I better not. I think it's coaching.
Are they putting the ball up as soon as they cross over
As
the
soon as
half-court
they
line?
cross it, a 3-pointer goes up there, and you just
How's Drew Cook looking?
very good.
Oh,
Now that's my opinion.
Well, he's the leading
A
scorer
lot of
every
other
game.
people say, "What the hell did you say that for?" I think he is, and he's off touch. But what I really think, the sophomores are fantastic. They have some kids that come if they don't get ruined. But they have some kids now. They really trounced West Branch, but they got some shooters. They got
I mean, West Branch really trounced them.
yeah. No,
No, the sophomore.
sophomore
Oh,
boys.
sophomore boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Drew will be. See,
Well,
Drew
he
should
is a
be in that
sophomore
class.
playing
That's
up with the
So, I
varsity.
mean, you
Yeah.
get the mixture all together, and
It's got to be tough, Randy Larson, the head coach of the Regina boys team, to put a team together. 3 years in a row, they've won the state championship, and
In football.
3 out of the last 5 years, they've been to the state title game, if I'm not mistaken. That's hard to get these kids converted over to basketball.
well, he's got plenty out for basketball.
Okay.
But it's hard to take a football player and turn him into a basketball player
Agreed.
right off the go. Now they out of this, but last night, 11 points at halftime.
That's just
I could have
unbelievable.
sat there and cried. It's probably the worst game that I've seen in Regina's game all my life.
One thing about Christmas vacation is you got about 2 weeks off to work on practice.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the games are not scheduled for quite a long period of time for these schools. And
I still find it odd. There are no games during that 2-week Christmas break for high school in
I
Iowa.
agree.
See, when I was in school, you always played the Johnson County tournament during lunch break, remember?
Back home in Illinois, you've got holiday tournaments all over the place.
All over the place in Illinois.
And it's
yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah.
The gyms are packed. It is a moneymaker.
Yeah.
And big teams travel long distances across the state of Illinois to compete in these holiday tournaments.
Well, let's talk about Weston City.
Boy, oh
West
boy.
is doing really well.
Boys and girls.
Yes. Yeah. The West boys are undefeated, of course.
Of course. You know, they had a close call a week ago, and it was at home against somebody. But ever since then, they've just been blowing people out.
Well, they also had Alexander not playing.
Oh, really? Why?
I don't know.
Dondre?
Yeah, didn't he get suspended for a few games?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's back, played last night, had 3 points, so he's been a little rusty. And, obviously the girls, they've lost one game at West. Is it Allie Dusterhoff is leading the pack there, but he's got it going on. I think the boys just won their 31st straight game.
Is that
I
right?
don't think
Kind of, they were
anyone will touch-
undefeated last year, right? And
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Oh, yeah.
think anyone will touch the
Well,
West.
I agree.
The West High boys have all but one starter back. That was
Yes.
Jake Gilpin.
Right.
Yeah.
And they've got a sophomore on the team whose name escapes me, who's starting to rise up the ranks for the West High boys.
Yeah.
And the girls, woo,
Plus, they got a good coach.
they sure do.
They sure do.
Friend of Sports Opinion,
See,
Steve Bergman.
Yeah.
Well,
Been
no,
around a while.
I watched him when he was at West Liberty, and he was a good coach.
Yeah, I've known Steve for about, I hate to say how long, about 35 years.
Yeah, he was at Iowa when you were, right?
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
hung out at the house because I was living with some guys he was buddies with,
Yeah.
and we got to know each other. And I have a lot of respect for him, a lot. He's a good guy.
Oh, I know. It's a good coach.
You have Showalter over at City High,
Another good
from
coach.
Mid Prairie, another great coach in the system.
How's he doing?
Not so well.
Well, he's his first year.
Yeah.
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 And they don't have the talent that West High has.
No, nobody does.
But he's one of the best coaches in the
They got beat again
Yeah.
last night.
By what, 2 points?
they
It was
play?
I
close.
forget who'd they play, Bob. I forget.
Don't even remember.
The City High girls have a real good team,
Yes.
real good, and they're gonna give West High a run for their money.
Yes.
They
The
may,
girls, yeah.
I think
Well,
the
yeah.
City High girls may be more balanced
Yeah.
than West High.
That'll be a couple good ball games when the City High and West
Yeah.
girls
And
play.
actually,
buddy.
one of those should be coming up pretty quick.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's right.
They have one just before the break.
Do they have it before Christmas, you think?
That's what I think. I bet it's
Okay.
a week from Friday.
Before I forget,
Yeah.
the bowl season starts on Saturday. College football bowl season.
Speaking of bowl,
Excited.
I'm going to bring something up that is definitely the truth.
Better do it in about
It
2
was
minutes.
on national TV.
Okay.
2 football players from the University of Notre Dame. One raped a girl.
Whoa.
Now wait till you hear the whole story.
When?
One raped, I'll tell you, one raped a girl and one assaulted a girl.
Recently?
County attorney they filed all
Joe,
things. The county attorney wouldn't do anything for the girl. She committed suicide.
first I've heard of it.
No,
I know
whoa, wait. This is an old story. This happened.
2 weeks ago. 3 weeks
There was one that
Oh
happened
no!
2 years
It come
ago.
out 3 weeks ago. No, but it happened because the players played 2 games after that. It
Really?
was on Chris Matthews.
Who are the players? Do you know? Starters?
Their names were on there with this girl, but I didn't pay much attention to it.
I'll be darned,
Then
I
I
never-
thought, see it some other time. I've never seen another report on it.
I'll be darned.
Well, there was a case prior to this season that happened. Now I don't know if they're bringing this up again, or if this is a new case. I don't know.
But I
Okay.
do know the bowl season starts Saturday. The first game is at noon, featuring Nevada versus Arizona, formerly coached by one of the Stoops brothers.
That's going to be a good game.
It ought to be, competitive for sure. ESPN Saturday at noon, and then the famous Idaho Potato Bowl featuring Toledo versus Utah State.
What day is that?
That's also Saturday at 3:30, just on ESPN. Following the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl, you will have the famous Idaho Potato Bowl,
In Boise.
and those are the only bowl games this weekend, and there won't be another one until December 20th.
Only 3 good ones to miss.
Yeah,
Why are these so early?
Saturday's
Money.
the 15th
money.
of December. There.
People want to watch football. Okay, well, we're out of time. I want to thank you guys. Next week we're going to have to do our bowl show because it'll be our last show of the year and the last show with Bud. So bring your bowl predictions, dust up your crystal
Minus
ball.
this weekend, obviously.
That's right.
Okay.
I want to thank you for watching Sports Opinion every Wednesday night
Wanna
on 7
clarify
p.m. and every Sunday night at 6 p.m. If you want to catch us on the web, it's at patv.tv, or you can go to the Facebook page and catch the show every week. On behalf of Bob, Bud, and Earl, I'm Dirk saying thanks very much. And remember, either you're a Hawk or you're a loser Cyclone fan.
That's right.
Thanks for watching. Go Hawks. Bob?
Amen.